Brenda J. Lilly here with the Bridge Artistic Network. I wanted to put out a small disclaimer before we launch into today's video. I am not a licensed therapist. I am just a fellow creative artist who hopes to encourage, engage, and hopefully empower other creative artists to go out and live their art dream. Okay, here we go into today's video. I hope you enjoy it. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. Brenda J. Lilly here with the Bridge Artistic Network. It is September 15th, Monday morning, and it is time for another Monday morning kickstart. I hope you like this video. If you do, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, family, and everyone you know so we can keep on becoming who we were created to be. All right, on with the video, and I'll see you on the flip side. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. Brenda J. Lilly here with the Bridge Artistic Network, and it's time for our Monday morning kickstart. I have my big cup of coffee, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I hope you are too. If not, go grab yourself a cup of Joe and come on back, sit down and relax and listen. Today, I want to talk about expectations. I was sitting with a young artist yesterday. What a pleasure that is to sit with somebody who's just starting their process, just sort of beginning to come into their own and question everything, be unsure about things. And I'm not saying that it's nice that they're unsure or that they're questioning everything, but I think questions are important. I think I think recognizing you don't have all the answers and recognizing you don't know what to do next, and that making you wonder what this is all about, this life we're given. I think those are important questions, and I think they help us to take stock of where we are in our lives, in our gifts and talents and abilities, and honing and learning more, educating ourselves about around our craft, knowing there's always more to learn. I think these are important and really special times. But she was concerned that she's not talented enough, that she's not passionate enough, that she's not a leader. When in just the few hours that I had seen her, that to me was an untruth. Is she ready to lead the world? No, but is she ready to lead her small group that she's working with right now and to learn from them as well as engage with them and teach them and guide them? Sure. But the interesting thing was is she thought, at the ripe old age of 20, she should know everything. She had this expectation. She had this sort of perfectionist expectation that she was putting on herself that was telling her the story that she wasn't good enough, that she wasn't talented enough or passionate enough to be teaching or leading other people. And so I asked her some questions around that and coached her a little bit and hopefully helped her to get to a place where she knew that she's not supposed to have all the answers at the age of 20, that she's not supposed to know everything there is to know about her gifts or talents and abilities only 2 decades into life. It's she's got time. She's got time to learn, to grow, to become, and to be a new leader, to be a leader who's cherished by her community, which she certainly is. and to understand that they are guiding her in her new role as a leader of whatever groups they give her is important, that she knows it's not all on her, that there are people who have her back. That's what community is for. And so I wanted to talk about expectations today, and I think it's expectations and community all wrapped into one. So her expectation was that she should know more, that she should be more, that she should be more talented than she is in order to be like, she had to be Van Gogh in order to be like accepted as an art teacher or a leader of other artists. And here's the thing, I don't even think Van Gogh thought he was very good. I don't think Van Gogh thought he should be a leader of men. I don't think that most artists think that they're talented, gifted enough. That's just the truth of it. That's the truth of humanity. I think we all have doubts. I think we all have fears that we're not enough. I think we all have those feelings every now and then. But the truth is that we were given these innate gifts, these talents, and these abilities. Whether you're an artist or a creative or an innovator, you were given the mind, the gift, the talents, and the abilities that you have in order to go into this world and bring beauty and bring new things and to create, to inspire. And so the expectation that we should know more is not a bad expectation. It's not a bad thing to think, oh, I need to learn more. I think that's a good thing, no matter what age we're at. But for some reason, if the world tells us if we're not an expert, then we have no right to speak. And that's not true. Because who hasn't learned something from a 6-year-old, from a 4-year-old, from a 2-year-old, from a 1-year-old, from a 9-month-old baby who's learning how to walk, and every time they fall, they get back up, they dust themselves off, they keep going. That's a lesson that you can learn from a 9-month-old. You fall down, you get back up, you dust yourself off, and you get on with it. They're not an expert at anything at 9 months, except the fact that they're going to learn something and they're going to learn how to do this. They're an expert at determination and perseverance. That's their excellence. They're also a little bit more flexible and a little bit more soft and gushy. So when they fall down, it doesn't hurt as much as it hurts us in adulthood, right? Anyone who's an adult who has fallen recently, I'm preaching to the choir. I tripped up the stairs yesterday going into a church, and I was in pain for a good 5 minutes. I didn't hurt myself. I didn't do any injury, just stretched my ligaments in a way they weren't supposed to be stretched. Interesting, but babies can fall down and not have that experience for the most part. Good for them, but we get to learn the lesson from them. Dust yourself off and get back in the game. Don't let it stop you. Just because something is an unknown, just because something might be difficult, just because it might be an additive to the skill you have, so something that you don't know about yet or don't really know how to use or incorporate into your work, doesn't mean it's a bad thing or wrong thing, and it certainly doesn't make you not a good artist. If you are working to hone abilities that you have, that is good work. And my expectation and my encouragement and my hope for all of us, all of we artists, creatives, and innovators, is that we continue to grow and become who we were created to be. That process is an ongoing process throughout all of life. It doesn't stop. It does not stop. We constantly are learning new things. Every day brings something new to us. And because of the way we see the world, we get to experience different things every day, honor them, be in awe of them, be inspired by them, and then bring that into our work. I was driving to a church I was preaching at yesterday, and it was early morning, and I live up in the mountains, and so I was driving out of the mountains. I was going into a valley, and the mist was coming off the hills and rolling down into the valley that I was driving into, to the point where you couldn't see the road in front of you. And it was just, and the light was coming through in a certain way, and it was just magic. It was absolute magic, to the point where I slowed my car down again, early morning, no traffic around, slowed my car down, took my camera out, and I took a photo because, oh my, it was stunning. And I didn't want to miss the beauty that I was seeing, but I also wanted to remember it, right? So going back to this young artist I was talking with yesterday, her expectation at the beginning of the conversation was, I think, to be let off the hook. She doesn't really know where she's headed yet, and she doesn't really know she doesn't one of the things that we talked about was professional, what the word professional means. And she goes, "Yeah, I just don't know how I can make a living at this." And I said, "Why do you need to? What is it about this that makes you think this is what you should make your living at?" I'm not saying it isn't, but what is it that is telling you you can't make a living at this? And what can you do about that thought process? And is it important to make a living off of this? Okay. And she's like, "Well, I want to be professional." And I said, "Well, what does that word mean? Professional. What does that word mean? Does it mean that you make money off of something? That's that that's that makes you a professional because you make money from the things you create. Is it your work?" Well, so follow me down this road and path for a minute, because I've been in the quote unquote professional world of arts and entertainment for a long time. And now I'm in two places. I've got two different distinct things that I do, and yet I combine them all together. It is my profession. It is what I do. And I have always found a way to work in the arts and entertainment industry in some way, shape, or form. It's not been a straight road. It's circuitous in nature. And it's not what I expected when I was 20. When I was 20, I had a completely different vision of my life, and I started going down that path, and I was on that road for a very long time. And then the road went like this, and I had a decision to make at the age of 33. And at the age of 33, I made a very different decision for my life, and my world started to go down this other path. but it never left I never left my artistic nature in the dust. I never stopped being an artist or a creative or an innovator. I never stopped that process. I just changed it because of the direction of my life. And so to think that what you imagine at the age of 20, to have the expectation that at the age of 20, you will really know where you're going to be at the age of 50, 60, 70, when you have no idea what life is going to present you with. I think it's I think it's um, an interesting idea, and I think we all have it to a certain extent, right? We all want to know, or we expect that we will understand where we're headed. We have a 10-year plan, and that's going to get us to, yeah, okay. And I'm a planner, dude. So I like a plan, but I'm also aware that plans shift and change as life shifts and changes with us. So, my expectation of this young artist is that she is going to do great things. How, where, I don't know. And that's okay. It's okay not to know. But what's not okay is to let the unknown stop you from continuing to grow in your artistic journey and your life journey, to sideline your artistic nature thinking it's not important. And that's what we talked about towards the end of our conversation. I was like, look, whether you make money at this or not, keep doing it, because it is your heart, it is your soul, it is what makes you tick. I can see that from just knowing you for 3 hours. So if I can see that in you, people who know you, who love you, your community who supports you and wants to honor that side of you, they're doing that for a reason. They're not blowing sunshine. They're saying this is important. This is part of what you were made for. Do it. I said, listen to those voices and silence the voices of doubt with the voices of encouragement. Believe them. Let the doubts go. So, what I have to say is, we have to make sure our expectations are set in some form of truth and understanding. We have to be able to look at ourselves full on and examine our motives, our behaviors, our thought processes. And we have to think, is this expectation right and good and true for me? Is it something I need to honor? Or am I setting a pie in the sky expectation that's shutting me down? And why am I doing that? Is it because I expected to be somewhere else by the age of whatever? Those, I remember there was a movie, I can't remember the movie, but it was a woman was talking, an actress was talking, and she said, I expected to be married with children by the age of 30. And I was like, I just laughed. I laughed out loud because we put these expectations on ourselves at the age of 12, 13, 14, and we're like, yes, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to find the man I love or the woman I love, I'm going to get married, and I'm going to have 2.5 kids and a dog, and we're going to have a house in the suburbs, and like this crazy American dream that was set in the 80s, right? That by the time I graduated from college wasn't not achievable. Many of my friends achieved that, but it was never something I was interested in. So, yeah, my expectations of my life were completely different, and I didn't really hone them in. I didn't have the expectation of of marriage and family and a house. My expectation was a fun career that helped me to get to know people and travel around a bit and and see the world using the lens of art. Whatever your expectations are, you need to examine them. You need to make sure they're right and true for you. And you need to talk to people who have more time invested in this life. So, wise counsel. And I've said this in so many videos. Find someone that you trust, that you respect, that you know has more information because of the life they've lived than you do, and talk to them. Don't be afraid of the questions. Ask the questions and then manage and set good expectations. Both manage your expectations and set expectations, but set good expectations for your life. And we all need to do this throughout our life. So, right now, I started the conversation talking about this young girl. But it does not matter what age we are at. We always start a journey with an expectation. I have an expectation in the next couple of months, I'm going to do this, right? We need to be careful throughout our life to set and manage our expectations, no matter our age. Because if we don't manage our expectations, at some point we're going to trip and fall. And the older we get, the more painful that experience is. So we all, artists, creatives, innovators who can dream pie in the sky dreams for our lives. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying do it, but then manage your expectations about how you're going to get that done. Like, look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, so what's possible for me in one day to accomplish at this age, in this body, with these things that I have going on in my life? And then go about your business. Is what you have, because your life is so busy, is 20 minutes of creative time? Then spend that 20 minutes. If you've got 2 hours, then spend that 2 hours. If you have time, if you have a whole day to do and work on your creative stuff, then take that day. Be blessed by it. Whatever amount of time and energy you have for this stuff and to get from point A to point B, make sure you manage your time so that you can accomplish that and meet your expectations. It's a lifelong learning process. So don't get bunched up because of bad expectations that you placed on yourself due to outside pressures or thought processes. Manage your expectations well. Ask good questions. Don't be afraid of questions. And then pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get on with it, because life is a journey. And we need to create beauty and add some beauty into this world. We need you guys. All right. I love you. Be blessed as you go. Have a wonderful week. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe. What are you waiting for? All right. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.